I can't believe that we get this type of entertainment for free. Ben Shapiro goes on to CNN to debate, murder crimes in Chicago and the fact that Trump is cracking down on crime and using the National Guard to solve a lot of the crime issues in America. And CNN just can't comprehend it. And they look like absolute idiots in their own home, on their own platform, and it's free to do. The only thing that I ask is that you guys like and subscribe to the channel because you are going to love this. Here we go.
I think that, to be fair, the exertion of more power by the executive branch has been an ongoing process for the course of the last 20 years minimum. And you saw the Obama administration declare national emergencies, something like 12 national emergencies under President Obama, something like 9 under Joe Biden. Now you've had President Trump declare a wide variety of national emergencies. This isn't a unilateral problem. I think it is a bilateral problem. With that said, I think that we should separate a few strands here. One is the legal that Eli was talking about. One of the other things here, though, is I think what Van was referring to, which is President Trump does have a habit of wrong-footing his political opponents in a unique way on this sort of stuff. There were 574 murders in Chicago last year. And you can make the argument, I think a plausible argument, that National Guard troops should not be on the ground enforcing crime, both legally and just as a matter of general policy. But if the position you end up taking is that there is no serious crime emergency in Chicago on a rhetorical level, not on a legal level, on a rhetorical level, or you make the case that actually crime in Chicago just isn't that big of a deal, which seems to be the mistake that many Democratic politicians are making right now, Trump is going to win that battle all day long.
I mean, I hear you, but I also think...
I hear you. You're right. The numbers add up. It makes sense. It's logical, but I'm going to go with feelings over facts. This is the problem right now with the left, with CNN, is they just go with feelings over facts and look like idiots. And we're about to see her look like an absolute idiot.
There is the rhetorical level, which we could focus on. But I mean, I also want to focus on the reality, like the actual things that are happening. And even to that point, I mean, voters are not, I think we treat voters as stupider than they are. Mm-hmm. You ask them in polls and they say, we think crime is a problem. We don't like the way Trump is handling it in the way that he is sending the National Guard. They want Trump to do more about crime. They don't necessarily want him to send troops to cities. So voters can handle these topics. They're not
I totally agree. I think
idiots.
Voters see what's happening for what it really is. I see this presidency, for the most part, as like a kayfabe presidency. It's a wrestling term. Everything is theater, right? Because I question the whole premise that Trump is using to send, National Guard troops on the ground. And of course, he's doing it in blue cities. I think crime is a problem in some of these blue cities. I'm not going to minimize it at all. Thank you for acknowledging that, Van, because I think too many Democrats want to pretend like it's not a problem because they don't want to be held accountable for it. But it is a local issue. And if the federal government is serious about tackling crime, well, there are things you can do on a federal level that actually helps these communities, right? So one thing that you could do is, rather than just talk about the need for mental health care, for instance, which is like one of the root causes of all these mass shootings that keep happening, don't just talk the talk, walk the walk. Pressure Congress to pass legislation that allocates necessary funding so people get the help that they need, right? We're not going to be able to roll back the fact that we are swimming in guns in this country, but we can deal with some of the other causes that lead to some of the shootings that we have. Opportunity zones is another good idea. But Trump isn't serious about solving crime here. This is all about theater. This is all about shock and awe.
That's ridiculous to make the assumption that the president isn't actually concerned about solving these problems and he's only doing it for shock and awe. Like, give me a freaking break. He's actually reducing the crime rates in Washington, D.C., 80-some%. And the radical leftist mayor was forced to admit that and submit to Trump live on television. So, no, it's not just for theater. It's not just for optics. He's actually making a freaking difference. And in terms of mental health in America, I think that part of the problem, if I'm not mistaken, based off of recent polls, recent data, is transgenders' ability to get firearms. And I think that that's even being reviewed in America because there's so many recent shootings, school shootings and stuff like that, that have been done by transgenders. There's a lot of hatred in that kind of sector. And so I just want to pass the question off to you. How do you feel about this? Do you support what Trump is doing? Do you like the fact that Trump is actually making a difference in America, making life better trying to bring down the cost of living, literally reducing crime rates by the different ways that he's implementing, the National Guard and stuff like that? Or do you agree with CNN and the host of the Young Turks that Trump is doing things wrong? Let me know where you guys stand. Like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.